Hey my loves, what's up? For those of you that don't know me, my name is Crissanna, and if you're new here, then welcome, and if you're an oldie, welcome back. So guys, in today's video, this one is highly requested. You guys have been wanting me to compare the new Morphe 35F Fall Into Fabulous eyeshadow palette. Looks like this. And you guys wanted me to compare it to the older version, which is the 35F Fall Into Frost. This is what this one looks like. So honestly, you guys, in the beginning, I was just totally thinking, okay, like these palettes are almost identical. There's no reason that I need to get on and do a video to prove it like a difference. But you guys, honestly, these palettes are completely different. For starters, the Fall Into Fabulous has more mattes, and the shimmer shades in each palette, you guys, are completely different. Now, there is about 10 shades in each palette that are exactly identical, but other than that, you guys, they are a lot different. So on each eye today, I went ahead and used the Fabulous palette on this side, and I used the Frost on this side. And you guys, they look absolutely the same. Like, there's no difference. But again, these shades are exactly alike versus some of the other shades in the palette that are completely different. So I am going to create both of these eye looks, and I'm also going to do swatches at the end. So if you guys want to see those, make sure you stay tuned. And yeah, if you guys end up liking this video, please be sure to give it a big old thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you guys want to see exactly how I created these eye looks, go ahead and keep on watching. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to prime my lids using the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. So I am going to prime both lids at the same time because we will be going back and forth from palette to palette. I'm going to take a concealer buffer brush and blend that out. So for both eyes, I'm just going to take the Maybelline Fit Me setting powder. I'm just going to go ahead and set both lids. This is going to be so tricky to tell you guys the names because, like I said, they both have this freaking sheet of paper, which absolutely sucks. I just wish they would write the names right in the palettes. Okay, so let's first jump in with the Fall Into Fabulous. That is going to be on my left side, which will be your right. So the first shade I'm going to jump into is going to be this neutral tone right here, and this is called Unisex. And this is going to be my first transition shade. I'm going to take a big blending brush by Morphe and Jaclyn Hill, and I'm just going to run this right up here above the crease. So now the shade that is most similar in the Fall Into Frost palette is going to be this shade right here called Sand. So again, using the same brush, I did use the color switch to clean it off. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to run this right above the crease. So with the Fall Into Frost palette, I'm not really getting any excess when I tap off my brush. Versus the Fabulous one, I feel like I was getting a lot of like excess tapping it off, and I was also getting a lot of pigment. So going back into the Fall Into Fabulous palette, I'm going to take the shade Loungewear, which is this one right here. And again, I am using a smaller brush from the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collection. So I'm going to pack this right on the outer V, and I'm probably going to bring it into the crease as well. But I mean, the color payoff in this Fabulous palette is absolutely amazing. Like, you literally could only dip your brush once, and then that would be good. So very lightly, I'm just going to take my brush and run this right into the crease. But I mean, look how simple that was to lay that outer V shade down. And it actually looks really, really good and like super pigmented. Now, I'm not sure yet, but I might go in with a black matte shade. But as of right now, I'm going to keep it at this. So I'm going to go in for the second dip. And again, just tap that right into the outer V. And again, very lightly, just bringing that right into the crease. So now the shade we're going to take in the Frost palette is going to be this one, and it's called Fortune. So I'm going to do the same thing, and we're going to see if we can get enough pigment off this one swipe like we did with the Fabulous side. So again, just going to pack this right here on the outer V. I mean, as you guys can see for yourself, one dip is just not going to cut it. And this palette isn't even a year old yet, you guys, so I know that it's not like old or outdated or anything. But no extra product. I'm going to bring it right into the crease. Alright guys, so if you guys hear anything in the background, it is my AC. I had to turn it on because my room is starting to get humid and my camera is starting to get super cloudy and foggy. So I did go ahead and turn it on. Hopefully that solves this problem. So again, and what I was saying last time before I cut the video off is we are done with the matte shades. Now we're going to go ahead and go into some shimmers. And I was also mentioning that in the Frost palette, they have this shade right here that is called 24 karat gold. So this, it has like reflex of glitter in it. Now the Fabulous palette does not have that shade. So there are definitely pros and cons to each palette and good shades that one palette has that the other doesn't. But I definitely know this off the bat. The Fabulous one is 100% more pigmented and definitely blends a lot easier. So let's go ahead and for some shimmer shades now. All right, y'all, right now I am struggling trying to find some shimmer shades that match, because as much as I thought these palettes looked alike, they really do not. In like the shimmer department, like the shimmers are a lot different. The only type of shimmers that are the same are like the lighter, whiter shimmers, but none of the purples are the same at all. So I'm going to go in with a maroonish bronzy type shade, and this shade is called Textile. It's going to be this one right here, and I'm just taking this flat brush by Morphe, and this is going to go probably on about 1/2 of the lid. I definitely wanted to do something more of like purple tone, but that's okay. So now in the Frost palette, this shade is called Reduce. This one right here. And again, I'm going to put this on about 1/2 of my lid. Okay, so now we're going to add one more shimmer on the lid. So I'm next going to add this shade right here called Brand New. And I'm just hoping that there is a similar shade in the Frost palette, which they do look similar, but I'm just not sure. But let's go ahead and add this. So I'm going to add this right to the outer portion. I'm not taking it all the way over, but I am just going to add a little bit right here, just between that shimmer and that matte shade. So in the Frost palette, the shade that I think is most similar is going to be this one called Ariel. All right, guys, I totally screwed this up. So I accidentally added the Fabulous palette on the Frost side, and I totally screwed this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and add the Frost shade on the Fabulous side. I feel like we can kind of get away with that. So I'm just adding the shade from the Frost palette on this side, the Fabulous side. I feel like this video, you guys, has been like a total nightmare this far. I've gotten the palettes confused. My camera lens keeps messing up. Like, this is just so not good. So you guys, I would say those shades are pretty dang similar, and I'm actually pretty happy that I was able to create a look from both of these palettes that looked exactly the same. So now let's go in for an inner corner highlighting shade from the Fabulous palette. So I'm going to take the first white shimmer shade, and this is called Runway. I didn't really want to use a bright white shade, but I feel like they're the only shades that look really, really similar. And then for the Frost palette, I'm going to take the shade Visible. Literally, you guys, these palettes have me like so confused at this point. Ooh. Honestly, guys, I think I like the shimmer from the Frost palette better. It just like looks really beautiful. I'm going to clean my brush off and go back into the one from the Fabulous palette. Oh yeah, the Frost one is definitely a lot better. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and do the bottom waterline quick, and then I'm going to go off camera and get my lashes and stuff on. So for the bottom waterline, I'm going back into the Fabulous palette, and I am going to firstly grab the deepest shade we used, which was called Loungewear. And it's going to go right on the lower lash line. You guys, how did that happen? Seriously, guys, like, how did that even happen? How did I even get black up there? Like, seriously, guys, I'm like losing my mind today. Like, I don't even like know what's going on at this point, and I feel like at this point this video is like ruined. And then from the Frost palette, going in with the shade Fortune. And then to smoke that out, I'm going back in with the shade Unisex from the Fabulous palette. And in the Frost one, I'm taking the shade Sand. All right, guys, so really quickly, I'm going to get off camera. I'm going to clean up this black spot, and I'm also going to put my lashes on. And then I'm going to come back and tell you how I feel about both palettes, and then I might do swatches as well. So stick around for that, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so here is the finished look using both palettes. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a close-up, and then we're going to talk about these palettes and do some swatches. So guys, honestly, I do think that there is potential to create the same look with both palettes, but you're not going to be able to create a lot of the same looks because these palettes are definitely different. I didn't say that in the beginning, but they are a lot different. Like, the only thing that's really similar is some of the matte shades and then some of the shimmers. But I'm going to do some swatches on my arms, but I'm not going to swatch the whole palette. I'm just going to do some swatches of shades that I think are both similar in each palette. So I'm going to swatch the Fabulous shade on this side and then the Frost right here next to it. So once I've got all these swatched on my arm, I'm going to come back and show you guys. I'm back to show you guys the swatches. And again, I only swatched the shades that I thought looked the most similar. So all together we have 10 shades that almost look exactly the same. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the swatches now. I hope those swatches did you justice. I know they probably didn't, but again, I just kind of wanted to show you guys what shades did look alike. So I know I've had a lot of fuck ups in this video, you guys. Literally, I messed so many things up, but I hope that you guys stayed with me to the very end. And if you are still here from the very beginning, please give this video a big old thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. If there's anything at all that you guys want to see next or that you recommend that I do, please let me know down below. And really quickly, my thoughts on each palette. I say that if you have the original Frost palette, I say that you probably don't need the Fabulous palette. I mean, of course, there are a lot of shades in each one that are different. So if you'd like to get the Fabulous one just for that specific reason, then go for it. And it's hard to tell which palette is better with quality because some of the shades in the Fabulous palette are better than some of the shades in the Frost palette, and then it's vice versa. So it's really hard to tell which palette is actually better. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.